When does the Hannah Montana movie take place? Is that what destroyed Miley and Robbie's relationship? And how often do they reference the original show? And what makes this film the best movie of all time? All this and more as we dive into the legendary secrets of the Hannah Montana movie. Disney Channel had a hit on their hands. Hannah Montana is the most popular show, and it was at the time too, and was pretty much up there with the greats like Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, all the people that didn't even have their own TV shows. Miley Cyrus was up there with them. It's only fair that they took this incredibly successful and relevant show to the big screen. If you guys have seen Johnny 2000 before, it's no surprise that my foundation is Hannah Montana. The franchise, the series, the TV show, the movie, the music, everything Hannah Montana is definitely peak teen television in my opinion. But you know, that's just me. One of the best parts of the entire franchise is the culmination of all the things that make Hannah Montana amazing into this one feature-length film, Hannah Montana the movie. I've been so excited to do a retrospective on this for quite some time, but I definitely wanted to earn it. That's why I had to go through the whole first season, the whole second season, and now before I hit the third season, we're gonna hit the Hannah Montana movie right when it takes place. Sure, it only took about 50, 60 episodes to get there, but oh my gosh, thank God we got there. Now let's dive into all the things that make the Hannah Montana movie so incredible. What's up everybody, it's Johnny 2000. Focusing on 2000's nostalgia, music, TV, media, video games, and so much more.
If it's not too late, I sure would like a second chance.
So, Miley Stewart is struggling with her alter ego and popularity as Hannah Montana. She's getting more comfortable with spending money, going out, doing all these things as a 16-year-old, which I would be concerned too. The opening is really fun because it's literally Hannah Montana trying to get into her own concert, and seeing them run all backstage against all security guards, knowing that she can't get in that much trouble despite the fact she's a nut right now, is just so funny to me. Landing finally in the dressing room, we get this opening like montage with Best of Both Worlds playing and also her putting on her makeup. It's like the movie has its own opening theme song. Miley is taken right to stage, so we see how much of a pop star she really is outside of the world of the TV show. And we even go through her music video on the beach, which is an awesome transition to the next scene. And the song slows down for a really comical bit of her getting hit by a coconut, but it's nice because it takes the quirkiness of the TV show and adds it to the movie. And this is just such a powerful opening, like I am obsessed with this. Meanwhile, there's this guy named Oswald who is an undercover journalist, something that we've never really seen in the Hannah Montana TV show, but it's pretty interesting to find somebody that is actively trying to get dirt on Hannah Montana. He works for a magazine called Bonjique, and overhears that Hannah is actually keeping a secret when he leaves a camera in her dressing room that is not appropriate. He becomes determined to find out what is going on. When Miley is trying to get to Lily's birthday party, which is a definite plot point that would easily be done in the show, she gets distracted by her pop star stuff, getting in a fight with Tyra Banks over shoes in a shoe store. It has such a good comeback to her when she says, "Do you know who I am?"
Do you know who I am?
Well, I know you know who I am.
So?
Miley even misses Jackson's send-off to college, and we could tell that Robbie Ray is getting more and more frustrated from the opening all the way till now. So Miley has to get to Lily's birthday party through the limo, but it turns out that this journalist is actually following them. So she exits the limo as Miley, like she needs to do for Lily's birthday party, then this guy's gonna automatically know that Hannah is the same person. I mean, I feel like you could find an excuse for that, like say it was Miley's friend, but it's a big deal in this scenario. So of course Miley's problems always come first, and she shows up as Hannah Montana. Everybody is obsessed, and all the attention is taken away from Lily's actual birthday party to focus on the fact that Hannah's there. Lily is betrayed, and there's a really sad moment where they're looking at each other, and Miley's like, "I'll make it up to you," and she's like, "You'll never make it up to me."
Never, ever make it up to me. I'm sorry.
But it feels so much more well acted than it ever would be in the show that something is really going wrong with these two. The journalist asks Lily about Miley, and since Lily's mad, she actually leaks a little bit of information, which is kind of controversial. We get to see Rico and Oliver, which is really nice. They have such minimal dialogue for this movie, though. I desperately wish they were somehow incorporated a little bit more.
Rico, what's this hole at the top of the cake?
It's a high-pressure electro-pneumatic solenoid on it. It's 150 pounds per square inch with a brass safety check valve.
I get that the focus is on Miley and her backstory, but come on, you guys couldn't have found a way to weave them into more scenes. It's not that hard, but it's nice that we get Rico in it long enough to do his little tongue-twisting thing, and Oliver is just as quirky in this one moment. Obviously, no impact. There's nothing relevant to this. It could be cut from the movie and no one would know. So Robbie is furious over the fight with Tyra and Hannah, and he's trying to talk to her about her behavior, but her publicist gets in the way, and obviously Robbie is even more annoyed.
Your brother humiliating Lily at her own party?
I know I screwed up. I'm sorry, but I can't talk about this now. I gotta go to New York. It's the music awards.
So your grandmother's birthday doesn't even matter?
I've never seen Robbie so angry than I do in this movie, and I love it. It feels like there's a lot more at stake in their relationship, and I feel bad for Miley, but also it's like she's growing up. Like, this is not a weird one to have. Seeing her act out this much, like talking back in a more intense way, saying that she will never not be Hannah, like, it's just so clear Miley's flaws.
Hello, New York!
He tricks her to get on a plane to the World Music Awards when really it's Crowley Corners in Tennessee, her hometown, where Grandma Ruby is celebrating her birthday. It's so sweet when they're fighting in the car and Miley just insists on getting out. Like, her and Robbie are at super odds right now, but then seeing her reconnect with Blue Jeans just adds such a significant weight to the show and the movie. Like, everything just takes it so seriously, and the lore is so intact that it's just really good. And Miley develops a deep connection with her childhood friend Travis Brody, who's played by Lucas Till, after he helps her with riding her own horse. Suddenly, Miley and Robbie have their own relationships. Robbie has a love interest named Lorelai that the grandmother tries to introduce her to, which is kind of weird because it's his old wife's mother. Like, why are you getting involved? During the visit, Robbie is actually super klutzy and knocks over the entire display of plates in front of the entire family. And it's really funny because up until this point, we think Robbie Ray is this serious, strict dad, because as of the movie, that's all we've really seen. And this is him actually being goofy and humanizing himself a little bit more to show that he's not so different from Miley, especially with all the struggles he's going through.
Wee doggies! Great news, everybody. Elvis is alive and well.
Miley insists on trying to convince her father that she is back to her old root ways and she could definitely be Hannah Montana because she's really in touch with her family, that she could just jump right back into it and act like she's not this new LA girl. I know Brooke Shields had to have gotten paid if she has her picture on the screen. I wish they just got her to be in the movie. I bet they paid so much money just to have that image. They should have just did more than that.
Like I always say, ain't nothing better than farm fresh egg for breakfast.
Who in the Sam heck was that?
And it's fun watching the montage. Like, the music is so cleverly interwoven into the plot that when there's moments that you actually want to feel on the same page as Miley, you definitely do. Like, she's having a good time trying to catch the chickens and get the eggs, and it's like, oh my gosh, she's really not used to this anymore. But it's so fun seeing her be into it. But it's so sweet seeing her actually genuinely form a connection with all these activities that reminded her of her youth. Meanwhile, there's this battle between Grandma Ruby and this guy that's trying to turn the entire place into a shopping mall. Miley at first is super excited about this because she loves malls, but then it's like, oh shoot, like this is exactly what they meant when they said that you're not small town girl Miley anymore. Like, you'd rather have a mall than this nice, beautiful area? Then in the town, they actually find the journalist trying some of the products, and Miley starts messing with him in ways that I think are kind of borderline illegal, eventually knocking him over onto his back in the center of the street. I know he's a journalist, but he's still like a human being. You can't just harass somebody just because you believe they're morally corrupt. Miley actually seeks out this journalist, and we think she's crazy, but turns out she's just trying to purposely deter him. And it's really perfect because Miley sticks to this narrative that she helped Hannah at one point, and she's really good at keeping up with it. Like, the lie is really good in this movie.
I know all the Montanas.
No one could find them?
Sure. You go about 5 miles south of town, turn right at the first creek,
Left to the second crook.
and there you are.
There you are.
The journalist follows Miley's false directions and ends up at some abandoned cabin in the woods, even falling into a dirt pile, which is just borderline ridiculous. We learn that his daughters are super hyped that he's on the search for Hannah Montana.
Not now, girls!
Please get us here all to ground. Who's that? What's all that screaming?
And it kind of adds a layer of depth to this guy to remind us that he's not just a sleazy journalist, like he's a person with kids and moral ethics, I guess. Travis walks in on Miley singing The Climb, and it's so emotional. And this is why we make fun of 2000s romance, because it's so weird to think about you performing a song that's about your emotional depth and having somebody walk in on it and sharing their opinion about it.
And it seems like you got most of the notes right, so way to go, Miley.
And of course the opinion has to be controversial. It's like this part of the movie that it feels really like Hallmarky in a way that I don't necessarily love, but it's not out of the realm of Hannah Montana. Miley and Travis have this joint project where they're trying to rebuild the barn and make it a lot better for the grandmother, which is really sweet. Miley and Travis reconnect and start doing all the things she used to really love about living on the ranch, genuinely trying to get into her family's roots. They ride horses, play on the waterfall, and it's all really for the sake of having a song play during it. Later, they're at the Hoedown Throwdown and have a really nice dance-off. Robbie Ray is singing as himself, which is cool because it ties us into the reality of this series, where we know that Billy Ray is a pop star. Kind of reminds me of like On the Road Again from the first season, when Robbie was aching to get back on stage. It definitely adds a layer of reality to this movie. Miley and Robbie kind of have a heart-to-heart at the event. It doesn't really go anywhere, but it's nice to see them connect again.
She likes you. You like her. Why do you have to make everything so complicated?
Miley just wouldn't understand. Hey, you know she likes.
Only to be interrupted by this guy trying to insist this place is going to be a shopping mall.
We don't want your money.
Well, fine, because at the end of the day, it really ain't going to matter. You can have 100 of these little things. You ain't never going to raise the kind of money it's going to take to save the meadows. Not unless the Beatles show up for a benefit concert. The sooner we...
Miley knows Hannah Montana.
Who's that?
She saved her life surfing.
That she saved Hannah's life during a surfing accident, and so we have to keep that narrative now. Miley decides to step up in a way that is more meaningful than she has before, where she claims to know Hannah Montana and that she could come and help raise the money it would take to prevent this all from happening. It feels like a plot in an episode of the show, which I am obsessed with. It's so fun. Then we have a moment where we see Taylor Swift. I don't know what she's doing here. She sings a really good song, Crazier. I'm not sure if you guys heard it. It took a while for it to get to Spotify, but it's definitely on this album. I'm not sure if she's from the small town or she's supposed to be. I mean, in the series, they mentioned Taylor Swift as a pop star, so I'm not sure why it would even matter that Hannah Montana is famous if Taylor Swift could just be at Crowley Corners. I'm very thrown off of this. Billy Ray and Lorelai start dancing, and I'm a kid. This is gross. I don't want to see old people be in love. But it's nice to see their connection form, especially knowing his relationship with Miley and seeing him be like a good dad. Not sure if that's really how it goes in real life, but... Finally, Lily arrives as Hannah Montana to kind of buy time and convince everybody on the narrative that she's one person. And her publicist show up, and this publicist is so snotty, and she's like, oh, this is a nice little farm place, which is kind of relevant because that's how people in the show treat them. When Lily tells Miley that she accidentally leaked that information to the press,
You will never, ever, ever make it up to me. But this is one of those you're sorry, I'm sorry moments.
It is, and I am, and I swear Hannah will never come between us again.
it's like kind of barely talked about, and I wish we didn't have to move on so quickly from that. And why couldn't Oliver go with her? Like, I don't see an issue with that. Miley tries to use Hannah to trick Travis and kind of get advice on her.
You think she'd go out with me if I asked?
You want to go out with Miley?
Oh no, you'd be a real prize, don't get me wrong, but Miley.
As this gets deeper and deeper, Miley struggles between both identities, which is exactly as Robbie Ray warned her about. And she finds herself even more distant to the people she cared about and finding herself chasing all these inauthentic things in life. I think Miley is a lot more grounded and understanding of real life than Robbie Wright is. I like that the movie takes a metaphorical approach to the tone of Hannah Montana season 2 into season 3. Like, as we know, season 2 is very much about her having that long hair, but in the movie, the hair's still long, it's just getting a little bit wavy, and then as the movie progresses up until she's at the dinner, the wig shortens itself back to her shoulders, which is inevitably what's going to be happening in season 3. Even the little girl that's the fan wears a Hannah Montana season 2 shirt, and it's really cool to think about that season 3 didn't happen yet, because it kind of punches itself into the timeline and shows the transformation in Miley as a character through her clothes and outfits in this movie, and coinciding with the music so well, like with Rockstar, Best of Both Worlds, and going into Let's Get Crazy. Like, it seems like everything is working in tandem to make this franchise consistent, which I love. So Miley as Hannah Montana actually convinces Travis to ask her out. It's really funny watching him ask her as they're painting the barn, because it's like, you know it's not him genuinely coming up with that, and I hope he doesn't get mad later when he finds out. Oh, did I spoil it for you? Well, this came out a long time ago, okay? But this is a really cute moment between the two, although it definitely is about to introduce a lot more problems as she's getting ready for both the charity dinner and a date. Oh my gosh, classic Hannah Montana issue.
Hey, you're the one that promised Lorelai that Hannah would be the guest of honor at the Mayor's Big Lobster hoo-ha tonight.
Actually, Lily did.
Actually, Hannah did.
As Miley attends a dinner for all the important people of Crowley Corners, she's tied with her teenage commitments of going on a date with a boy, which is showing that her double life is broken apart by more than just fame. And it's funny because Robbie Ray here is trying to get her on the other side, where he's trying to get her to do more adult things, and she just wants to be a kid. And it's almost like the same thing with her identity. Like, you need to have both in order to have a balanced life. So she's allowed to have Hannah and Miley, and he's realizing that now. And Miley is trying to keep this date, but she's really disrespectfully rude, like leaving it every 5 seconds to go as Hannah to Miley to Hannah to Miley. It's really not fair for either party. And it reminds me of that episode in season 1 where Miley kept going to Hannah's concert with the guy that didn't like her, trying to get her into it, and then kept switching from on stage to in the audience. Like, that is insane. How do you do something like that? It worked really well in a sitcom, but here in a movie, it's actually a really heartless thing to do. Like, Miley, this is so rude. Travis ends up seeing Miley take off the wig along with the little girl, and it feels like Miley's secret is done forever. And I remember being in the theaters, being so terrified. I'm like, there's no way you can come back from this. Miley is super upset when she sees that Robbie Ray has to break off this new relationship just because he has to keep keeping Miley's secrets. And she starts to see for the first time as an adult that, like, you can't maintain a lie forever, and you can't live like that.
I really don't have any time for secrets and lies, and I don't know if I could be happy with somebody who's so comfortable living in them.
I don't. You shouldn't have to be.
Which is a really nice coming-of-age message, making this movie just really deep. And it's clear that Miley just has no hold over anything in her life, and Robbie starts to feel bad because it's like, well, maybe you should enjoy the things you can control. Suddenly, Miley and Robbie start to grow closer once again as they meet, and they share this really nice moment where they sing Butterfly, Fly Away, as Miley also tries to rebuild her relationship with Travis, and thus her hometown. Like, it's really about seeing the good and bad in all of your upbringing and who you choose to be and how you stay close to your original virtues. Like, it's such a beautiful story. And Miley, she seems like a jerk sometimes, but I feel like she's genuinely responding how any person would in these situations. Like, she's trying her best, she's trying to be a good person, but she's got wants and needs, and just because she's following them doesn't mean she's a bad person. But of course, she has adult responsibilities. She has people to keep up with. She has to account for things in her life. She can't just go off and do whatever she wants, which is such an important lesson. And a common theme throughout the entire series. It's translating great to a movie, and we still get this comedy. I really love this movie. When she's on stage singing Rockstar, which is the best song ever, and even more metaphorical to stop singing in the middle of realizing her impact on all these people in her life. Like, she's like, oh, I'm making so many people keep a secret, and that's just so much more than me being a big town girl versus small town girl. Like, I am genuinely affecting the people in my life.
This is where I'm from. This is family. And there's only so many sacrifices you can ask a family to make.
because of the decisions I'm making. And that realization is what Robbie Ray probably wanted her to mature to realize, and this is where she is completely dealing with everything all at once. Like, she is personally attached to all of her decisions, would ever understand because of her amount of popularity, her scrutiny, like every pressure that's on her as a 16-year-old girl is just so unfair.
Who don't know Hannah Montana? She's famous.
Well, she's telling everyone she's from this little patch of nowhere, but no one's ever seen her.
I've seen her, saw her, know her, knew her.
You're the first.
And having her need to accept all these adult responsibilities within this movie as a 16-year-old girl, like, that's heavy, and it's really rewarding when we see her grow because of it. She even begins to sing The Climb in front of everybody as Miley instead of Hannah, which is super inspirational. And unlike Wizards of Waverly Place's finale to the feature film, when Miley actually does reveal herself to everybody, it completely hits differently, but we'll get to that later. The most important thing is that in this moment, Miley's coming to terms with everything through a song that explains how hard it is to be her, and when she gets the entire world to empathize, everything becomes a lot simpler. And I think that's what the real objective is. Like, it's not about this publicist trying to out her secret, it's about her versus herself and all these external factors attempting to sway her in another direction, but she does not take it. She remains strong, and it's all about the climb, and I love this movie. Even the moments with her and Grandma Ruby are really genuine, and even though I'd rather see Dolly Parton and Mama in this because it would make the show a little bit more consistent, it feels very genuine coming from the relationships. I like seeing them interact. I like that Brooke Shields is seen in the movie because that means she did kind of have a part in it somewhat, despite the fact she wasn't exactly in it. I wish Jackson was in it a lot more. I love that he's a kind of a texture, you know, like, he's always there to show that he's a part of the family, but it's like, are you guys kidding me? Like, you couldn't give him more lines, you couldn't have him do a little bit more, as opposed to just like the hijinks every now and then, but I guess that is him in the show. He's always the B-plot hijinks. And of course, that's the first thing to be cut in this movie, but I would have loved to see more of Jackson. At least commit to it. Like, you put it in the show, put him in here. The final song that plays in this movie is definitely one of the best. It sums up the theme of the entire movie so well. You'll Always Find Your Way Back Home is not only a good Hannah Montana song, but it's a good story song that wraps up this entire movie as if it is a theatrical show. So there's a lot of shocking key differences between the Hannah Montana movie and real life. Something I couldn't get over was Miley and Billy Ray Cyrus's relationship. I mean, I thought about it a lot during the watch of the show, but after this Butterfly Fly Away sequence, where I was told that they actually worked on the song together and performed it together, I think it's worth diving into, like, why aren't they talking now? Apparently they were very close at the start. Billy Ray wasn't originally supposed to be in Hannah Montana, but Disney liked the idea of making Miley's real life dad her on-screen dad, so he was cast as Robbie Ray Stewart. And at first Billy Ray was super supportive of Miley's rise to fame and saw the show as a way for them to spend more time together while working. In 2011, in an interview with GQ, Billy Ray said that Hannah Montana destroyed their family. He felt the intense fame and Hollywood lifestyle negatively affected Miley and led to personal struggles. He mentioned that he wished the show had never happened, saying, "I'd take it back in a second." Oh my gosh, this is so sad. And Miley wanted independence as she started to grow older and broke away from her Disney image, which led to some tension with her dad. Around the time she started to transition into a more mature career, like Can't Be Tamed in 2010, reports suggested that she and Billy Ray weren't as close as before. Miley even admitted in interviews that she didn't always want to take her dad's advice when it came to her career choices. And they actually had public up and downs. Like, Miley was apparently upset that he spoke to GQ about Hannah Montana. She didn't respond, but it was clear that they were, like, kind of distant, and apparently later patched things up. Billy Ray was supportive of her career during the Bangers era in 2013. But I know the show's end was bittersweet. Miley was ready to move on from Hannah Montana, but Billy Ray apparently initially thought the show could continue, despite Miley wanting to outgrow it, which is really weird that he talked about regretting it, considering she was the one that more so wanted to leave. And in her early career, he became less active in her music and business decisions. As of post Hannah Montana, it's been rocky, and while they've reconciled a bunch of times, the 2022 divorce between Billy Ray and Tish Cyrus apparently caused major issues, with Miley being more comfortable around her mom. She didn't even acknowledge the Old Town Road remix becoming a hit again, so the two haven't really publicly exchanged conversation.
Ain't nothing better than farm fresh egg for breakfast.
Who in the Sam heck was that?
So I found a bunch of interesting facts in my research about this movie. One of them is that while season 3 of Hannah Montana started airing in 2008, the movie was filmed first between April and July of 2008. And apparently Miley's actual grandmother, Loretta Finley, who she calls Mammy, makes a cameo in Hannah Montana the movie, and she actually lived by the set and visited it. I also heard that Lily and Miley were able to visit Miley's old childhood bedroom, which really adds a lot of depth to this movie for me. And apparently the Hoedown Throwdown was a big challenge. Miley admitted that it was really difficult for her to learn, even though it became one of the most famous dances from the movie. Apparently this guy Lucas Till, which is the love interest, was almost a Disney prince. Before landing the role of Travis in this movie, he auditioned to play Prince Charming in the Disney Cinderella, which later went on to Richard Madden in 2015.
Hannah Montana, really?
Yeah. I practically saved her life surfing the other day. She owes me big time.
And something I was also curious was the overlap of schedules between Hannah Montana the third season and the movie. They were so close together. I know the movie was filmed from April to July in 2008 in Tennessee and Los Angeles, and then season 3 was filmed on August 4th, 2008. Wow, what a short turnaround for those actors. Can you imagine working back to back for that long?
Apparently, I've thought of nothing else for weeks.
I'll hurt your grandma's feelings and a chewed up wig will be the least of your worries.
So there's some overlaps that we're able to point out, like Let's Get Crazy is the only song from the season 3 soundtrack that is performed, and it's also the first song that Hannah performs in the very first episode of season 3. So it was probably the lead single of the album. And it makes sense because we see Rockstar, we see a lot of the Hannah Montana 2 songs, but then the season 3 songs were just barely in there. Which is cool because it means that it was definitely filmed at the end of the second season before they shot the third season, and that's always cool to know. And I know the movie has Lily celebrating her 16th birthday, but at the end of episode 25 in season 3, it's Lily's birthday again, which means that it's almost a year since the movie took place, which is starting to add up. I think the story takes place right before the events of season 3. Lily directly mentions the climb in season 4, episode 7, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah, that's right, losers! I'm going to college! Tennessee University!
Apparently, some of the working titles for the film included Family Reunion, Hannah Montana Welcome Home, Off the Charts, Ultimate Choice, Where It All Began, and I'm glad they kind of inevitably went with just Hannah Montana the movie. In TV Guide, Miley Cyrus explained that her father would produce the movie and that it would most likely premiere in the winter of 2008, and she explained that the producers and cast were making a script. No details on the plot were released as of then, but it was confirmed that it was going to be in the theaters, like the Lizzie McGuire movie, making it the second Disney Channel original movie to do so. For this movie, they actually filmed the scenes at Franklin High School. They still have the Seaview High official logo on their shirts, but I am not fooled.
Dead girl in the middle of the floor. Anybody.
Thank you guys so much for watching. It was so fun to dive into one of my favorite movies of all time. Rewatching this was just such an amazing experience, and I never got to go so in depth with why it's so incredible, but I definitely feel like I was able to do that with you guys today. Now, what do you guys think? Did you guys see this when it came out, and how have you experienced it since? Did any of my insights or reactions spark anything within you? Thank you guys so much for watching, and continue to subscribe and support me, Johnny 2000, in my 2000s nostalgia endeavors. Have a great day.